if you're supposed to be afraid? Hey guys, Randy Gage here. Welcome to another Leadership Academy here at Rain International. Something we do every week. We have different formats every week. And at least once a month, we like to do a leadership skill training. And that's what I'd like to share with you today is conquering fear. And I'm not joking when I say, what about if you're supposed to be afraid? Um, because I believe this idea of a fearless leader is a myth. And it's a myth we need to destroy. So I want to talk about that in a few minutes. First, though, let's break down three fears that I hear from the team about two that I hear very frequently. A third one is one I don't usually hear, but I diagnose. And you might need to diagnose this with some of your people as a leader. The first one is the old standby that everybody hears about all the time, fear of rejection. I'm afraid I'm going to be rejected. Now, if you're probably expecting me to give you one of those platitudes that you hear from all the rah-rah motivational speakers, that I love rejection. I love to hear no. I love it when people say no, because I know if I get 9 no's in a row, then I'm going to get a yes, I'm not going to tell you that stuff because I don't believe it. I hate being rejected. I hate hearing no. Now, why do I hate hearing no? Because I know what I've got. I know the value that rain can bring to people's life. I believe seed source nutrition is one of the most powerful breakthroughs in nutritional supplements of the last half a century, right? Decades. Because if you take the fact that, hey, we don't get the kind of nutrients we need in our diet, there's no debate there. There's no sane, rational person who would say that the average person in the world today is getting all the nutrients they eat in our processed diet that we're dieting. It's just that we're eating. It's just not the case. So everyone, if they're being honest, would say, well, of course, we all need some kind of supplements or another. And some of us need much more than others do. So the idea of, hey, we should supplement what we're eating at our meals, which are how often are they coming through a drive-through window or, a vending machine, other fast food garbage, right? But the idea that we should supplement that is kind of not debatable. The only debate would be, well, what would be the best thing to supplement that diet with? And the answer is seed source nutrition, because we have the science, we have the lab tests on these particular products. We know that a seed has 20 to 30 times more nutrients than what it grows into. The seed, the fruit, the vegetable, or the plant. So if we're going to recognize that we should supplement our diet with fruits and vegetables and plants of some kind, then the only logical, rational conclusion you could come to is, well, what about if we made the supplements from the seeds instead of the fruit, plant, or vegetable? They're going to be 20 to 30 times more potent, more pure, more powerful than any other supplements in the world. So I know that. You have to know that. So when I talk to someone and they think they don't need to eat rain products, drink rain products, I hate to hear that. I honestly do. I also know that most of the people in the world are working too hard for too little. I know that most of the people in the world are not debt free. Most of the people in the world are upside down on their cars. They have credit card debt. They have onerous mortgages on their homes, and they have all kind of other debt. That's it's indentured servitude. It's horrible. And I know because I lived it for many years. And I'm going to tell you, I've made a lot of money, right? I'm blessed, right? This business has been so good for me. I'm not going to talk about the numbers because that would get us in trouble with the regulators. But if you know anything about me, you know I've made a lot of money in our profession. But I got to tell you, the richest I have ever felt was when I paid off the last credit card and became debt free. Of all the extra money I earned, the millions of dollars, the richest I ever felt was the day I became debt free, where my net worth was basically zero. Okay. But that's the richest I ever felt in my life because of so many decades that I was living in debt and always to me, people talk about being broke. I was like, wow, I would love to be broke because that meant I didn't own anything. Broke means you're at least even at zero, right? So I know the value of what we're offering people, and I know what it could mean to their life. So I don't like to hear that they don't want to look at it or they've looked at it and said, that's not for me. I know they don't take it personal. They're not rejecting you. They're not, they're rejecting the opportunity. I hear all those rational, logical things, but I got to tell you, I still feel like personally, I do take it personally. Like, what could I have done different? What did I do wrong that this person didn't see this? Because I must not have done my job right if they don't see the value in this. I mean, I get not everybody needs leverage, not everybody needs money. I do talk to people who are very, very wealthy and they don't need a diversification. They don't need a second gig. They don't need another stream of income. They're really, really well off. And so I always ask, well, do you have any goals in your health and wellness that you haven't achieved yet with your current routine? And if they still don't want to use the products, I feel like, man, I don't know. I did something wrong. So what's the only way to cure that fear? To go on to the next person, to know that, okay, this person didn't allow me to help them. So I'm going to find another person who will allow me to help them. Because I can't look myself in the mirror doing my business if I don't feel like I'm helping people out. And so if I'm not helping people, I'm not doing my job. So the fear of rejection, you're going to have some. Get over it. That's the only thing to do is to just keep moving on and know that no, the world is not going to stop spinning. No, you won't be a subject of ridicule at the country club. No, you're not going to die of embarrassment. No, whatever. These crazy worst case scenarios we imagine in our mind, they're all just made up. They don't really go true. 12 and a half seconds after your person has rejected you, while you're thinking about it for the next 5 hours. Believe me, after 12 and a half seconds, they're watching a dog on a surfboard on TikTok, the new dance craze. They're not even thinking about that. It's just, they went on with their life. Second thing we hear is fear of failure. This one's really easy for me to deal with, I think, because it's so irrational. Because we can look at rain, we can look at the diamonds, and we can say, okay, rain is a proven model. We have a case study, we have proof of concept. We have people who make money, we have people who are in wonderful health and energy and vibrant and flexibility from the bend and mental clarity from the bright and stronger immunity and less inflammation with the soul and the soul red and the cardiovascular of the beat. And meaning these people are all using the same compensation plan, the same marketing materials, representing the same product line. It works. So there is no need to have fear of failure. So those two are the two that you hear. And then I said there's a third one. That's the one I have to diagnose sometimes because it's when for every 100 people and this is my experience now working in the business for decades and being a entrepreneur coach, right? And I've worked with everybody from broke people to billionaires, right? In my career, I have worked with broke to billionaire and everything in between, right? I have seen for every 100 people who think they have fear of failure, usually 90 to 95 of them, what they actually have is fear of success. They have worthiness issues. They have imposter syndrome. They got raised in some kind of religious environment that told them they don't deserve to be healthy and happy and prosperous in this existence. They have to get it in their reincarnation or in the afterlife or in some other time, not in their time here on earth. That program is very detrimental and dangerous to people. There's people with so many with low self-esteem who just feel like they've been with abusive partners, they come from abusive families, so they have this, their self-worth is in the basement, and they don't believe they deserve success. They don't believe they deserve happiness. They don't believe they deserve health. And so part of our job as leaders is sometimes we kind of have to diagnose that for people and say, yeah, no, you don't have fear of failure. You have fear of success. Like me, everybody in my family was broke. So I was trained to hate wealthy people and be jealous of wealthy people. If you don't know me and my story, I've written 15 books. Most of the books, they're all about success and prosperity, mostly for entrepreneurs. But I go into the psychology of this and how much the programming there is from our TV shows and our movies and our plays and operas and social media and just the level of mind viruses that we get programmed with. Money is bad. Rich people are evil. It's somehow noble or spiritual to be poor. To be successful, you have to be a bad parent. To have a successful company, you must exploit workers or pillage the environment. These are the mind viruses we're all getting programmed with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so I've seen all this program. I've broken it down. You could read some of my books and I'll show you whether you're in your 20s, your 40s, your 60s, your 80s, whatever your generation is, I can break down and say, okay, here's the TV shows when you were growing up. So I can, whether we go back to the Beverly Hillbillies, how did they portray rich people? MASH, there was always one wealthy guy in the tent. How was that wealthy guy presented? Then we go to Dallas and Dynasty and those shows. And then we move on to Melrose Place. Then we move on to Chicago Med. And I could show you every medical show for ever since we had TV. There's right every ER back to every one of them. There's always a plot line. Some season there's a plot line of the rich company or the rich person who buys the hospital and doesn't want to treat poor people, and they just want to do $200,000 plastic surgery operations and that kind of nonsense. And look at the shows of today, Succession on HBO, and there's a new show out on FX called Alien Earth. Well, I love the show because I'm a sci-fi guy and I remember the original Alien. But what was the real subliminal programming of the original movie Alien? The rich, evil company, which got everybody killed because they were thinking of all the billions of dollars they were going to make with this alien, right? And then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And, what was the plot line of Jaws? Well, all these poor little innocent people are going to get eaten by this shark because the greedy business people don't want to close the beach during tourist season, and all the hotels would lose their occupancy rates, right? And I could just show you Superman, Batman, Avengers, The Rock, show after show, movie after movie after movie, So it's all the same. Rich people are evil, evil, greedy companies getting everyone. And so they just ended the new season of Alien Earth. Great show if you love sci-fi. I love sci-fi. So I watched the whole season. Well, now it's not even evil billionaires anymore, it's evil trillionaires. So the premise of the show is there are 5 trillionaires who control Earth. And they're trillionaires. So there's no governments anymore. The government is the 5 trillionaires. And it's a really intriguing show if you like sci-fi. And I really enjoyed the first season, right? But I also know I'm being programmed every episode of this I watch. And I have to counter program against that because rich people are not evil. There are people, and some are good and some are evil. And however they are in money, it's just going to amplify that. If you're a good person and you earn a lot of money, you're going to do good things. If you're a bad person and you earn a lot of money, you're going to do bad things. Money inherently of itself is neither good or evil, how you choose to do it. So I can look at a business like Rain and say, hey, I can go out and I can build a lot of wealth with Rain, and I can help other people. I can empower other people to do wealth, and I can do great things with it. And I can donate money to charity and support all kind of causes. And we have the Rain Foundation, the Seeds for Change Foundation, where we empower other people, right? So I have to, and you'll have to too. At some point, you're going to have to diagnose some of your people that, hey, you don't have fear of failure, you have fear of success. And I'm here to tell you it's okay. You are meant to be healthy and happy and prosperous. All right. So I hope you will really take that as a leadership lesson today, that you are meant to be healthy, happy, and prosperous. Okay, 3 other keys that I want you to know about fears, and then we'll wrap this thing up. First of all, there is no such thing as a fearless leader, right? It's a myth. There is, I have fear, Ann has fear, Paul Engelman has fears, Bettina and Marianne, and every Diamond, Nina, I guarantee you, every Diamond and Rain International, we have fears. But we succeed in spite of our fears. We allow the fears to drive us forward. Number 2 key about fear. No one ever has a breakthrough in their comfort zone. So you want to say, I want to be a triple black rain diamond. Here's what I can promise you. You will not achieve that in your comfort zone. If you want to become a triple black rain diamond or whatever your next rank is, okay? For now, maybe it's gold, maybe it's platinum. Let me tell you a secret. You're not going to get there in your comfort zone. You're going to have to go out and choose a fear that you want to confront, that you want to get through to get to that next thing. And finally, thing you should know about fear is action neutralizes fear. Person who sits there with their contact list and they keep imagining, what if this person turns me down? What if that person says no? They'll be procrastinating the rest of their life. And the fear will only get worse and worse and worse. And they will just build up such an imaginary unsurmountable thing, obstacle, they'll never get through it. But action, you finally just send that text. Hey, thought about you. I got something I think you'd be amazing at. If I sent you a link, would you watch a video and call me when you're done? You take that action, you send it out, it neutralizes the fear. All right, so that's what we do. We train our team, we build our dreams, we help other people build their dreams. If you're here just watching as a guest, you've been looking at Rain, we just wanted to take you behind the curtain a little and show you some of the training and support that we offer people. And if it sounds intriguing to you, get back with the person who invited you and let them know you want to lock in a spot. And if you have any other questions, they'll be happy to answer them. And for all my fellow RAIN associates, remember, nobody ever had a breakthrough in their comfort zone. So let me give you some homework for this week. Do something outside your comfort zone. Do something in your fear zone that will take you closer to living your dreams with RAIN International. All right, guys, have an amazing week. Love you all. Peace.